Water is life, and there can be no life without water.
Water. What do you know of eternity? As much as any force on earth.
Down the eons, you have poured your cups, twisted up your water spouts, heaved your great flanks. You've sobbed and sobbed, sparkled and laughed, alternately slammed flat our fragile structures, and caressed and cradled us in your smooth rocking.
What do you have to teach us? Your capacity to vary? Your ability to endure? Your ceaseless energy? The force of you comes ashore and dies there. Yet comes another, comes another, comes another. Froth, foam, bubbles, nothing.
How, O destructive element, can I abide the days of your coming in, coming in, coming in, because you are no single thing. You console us with your eternal arch and spew, even though you spite us.
You provide us the bounty of your myriad whales, clams, shrimp, eels, and fishes.
But above that, you offer us your beauty. You are energy made beautiful. And what are we ourselves but energy? Like you, we live by our inner tides and cycles.
We, like you, must always heave and move. We sometimes sparkle, may luxuriate in ourselves. Waves, you are a pattern that fills all the available space like stars.
Water, you tell me what I am.
What I may yet be.
What is water?
Water was first. This is the blue planet. Humanity emerged from the oceans over thousands of years, evolving like a miracle. You discovered water gods because you could not explain water or control water.
Why do you suppose someone might call water H2O? What is water?
Water gods exist because the power of water has always been a mystery.
Water is one of the most common substances on our planet and covers over 70% of the surface of the Earth.
Scientists, like us, believe that the amount of water on Earth doesn't change appreciably over time. In other words, we believe that the amount of water on Earth today was the same during the reign of the dinosaurs.
The more you know, the less you understand.
A water molecule has 3 atoms, 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. That's why water is sometimes referred to as H2O. A single drop of water contains billions of water molecules.
I am eternal and you are not. Disrespect me and you shall feel my wrath.
Water needs so greatly to love that she will endure almost anything, even abuse.
And water's mouth is kind. Her song will not hurt you.
Water occurs naturally in 3 forms that people see every day.
It can be vapor, as a steam from your breath or cooking, or unseen as humidity in the air.
It can be solid, like snow or ice.
It can be liquid, as a beverage, like whiskey, liquid gold. It could be a stream, like the river or the ocean. And water can fall from the sky. We are water, and water surrounds us.
Water is life, and there can be no life without water.
I remember falling into the water. It was terribly cold. I
I felt my clothes clinging about me and hampering my movements, and as I rose to the surface, I gasped for breath. My mouth was filled with water, and I sank again. I was chilled through and through. Then a sort of delirium came over me, and there was a ringing in my ears. I remember nothing more. So this is what it feels like to drown.
Drowning persons die in different ways.
I remember. There was snow on the ground. I was 5 years old and playing with some friends down the street. A neighbor of my friend's house had an above-ground pool. There was a cover on top and a big ball in the middle. Ice was on top of the pool. We decided to hop the fence and go skating. We found a ladder and dragged it over. There were 3 of us. Mikey was 6 years old.
Drowning persons die by.
Number 1, by syncope, followed by asphyxia while unconscious. Some of these victims die instantly. Number 2, by apoplexy, common in aged persons, followed by asphyxia while unconscious. Number 3, by asphyxia, pure and simple.
After getting the ladder next to the pool, I climbed up. I wanted to go skating. So I put one foot in front of the other and I started pretend ice skating with my boots on. I got about 6 feet in when I hit a soft spot. My foot went right through and then my body followed. I was wearing so many layers of clothes. The water was freezing and I was screaming to my friends. Eventually I could see my friends blurry through the ice. I screamed as I was swallowing more water. I was in so much pain and terror. Next, all I remember is not screaming anymore. I felt no pain. It was lovely. I remember music. Music I'd never heard before, yet seemed so familiar. I just drowned.
Death is the bargain we all agree to the moment we are born. Water, like death, can sometimes be in a hurry.
Deaths which occur under the first 2 categories are rapid and painless, constituting a half, perhaps 3/4 of all deaths by drowning. Deaths which come under the 3rd category, we presume, are not accompanied by physical suffering for these reasons.
Number 1, persons who have been resuscitated after having become unconscious declare that they felt no pain whatsoever.
Number 2, persons who lose their presence of mind are so occupied with their struggles and mental agony that a slight degree of physical pain would go unnoticed.
Number 3, persons who do not lose their wits become so exhausted and chilled that when the final act comes, they can only make feeble resistance.
My best friend's family invited me to vacation with them in Hawaii. It was the summer before high school started, and we had a pocket of days in the lush beauty of Hawaii, where we could be young girls, marveling at black sand beaches, snapping pictures of waterfalls on the drive to a volcano, and donning leis as we poked at koi during a luau. On our 4th day there, we all rented boogie boards to play in the surf of a beach just under a lookout point at the end of a highway. We didn't see the no trespassing sign. We thought that having the beach to ourselves was a stroke of luck. We didn't know that we would need a lifeguard. We never would have believed that anything dangerous and life-threatening would befall us under that perfect blue bowl of sky. But danger rushed toward us in the form of foamy white-capped waves. My best friend and I found her mom face down in the water, and there was no one to call out for except her 17-year-old brother, who was struggling his way to the shore. We poked her mom's chest with our 13-year-old palms, begging her to come back to life. We prayed for the water to stop pouring out of her mouth and nose, but we couldn't save her. As I ran to find help, I convinced myself she wasn't gone forever. I didn't believe that anyone could die on a beach this beautiful, in a place that smelled like lilac scent and salt water. Death is the
bargain we all agree to
the moment we are born.
Barbarity, cruel, inhumane, depraved, torture and crime, torture destroys us all.
Waterboarding induces panic and suffering. Subject is drowned from the inside, filling his body from the head down while avoiding total suffocation.
Restrain the interrogation subject on a board. Incline the board 15 to 20 degrees so that the feet are above the head.
The violent nature of waterboarding has changed very little over 500 years.
17th century Dutch traders used it against British rivals in the East Indies.
The Japanese in World War II, the French in Algeria.
In Cambodia, the Khmer Rouge used waterboarding against its own people.
The British against Arabs and Jews in Palestine. Dictatorships in Chile and Argentina.
And
the U.S.
at Guantanamo Bay.
They do not want me to be a river, but I am unstoppable. I am the perfect instrument capable of every sound. But here, the only sound you hear under me is...
Please.
The men in uniform strap them to the wood and call it waterboarding. As if drowning was an amusing summer sport. They tilt their heads back, pour me up their nose and throat, until they can't breathe without sucking me inside their lungs. I see only panic.
This is inhumane. This is cruel. This is torture.
This is torture. Stop the torture at Guantanamo Bay.
Please, men in uniform say they do this to get the information.
The Khmer Rouge puts a damp cloth over the head to keep the water clinging to the face. The CIA put plastic wrap over the mouth and nose to prevent water from escaping through the sinuses. Keep poised. Keep the chest elevated above the neck to keep the lungs above the waterline. Incline the head to keep the throat open and present the nostrils for easier breathing.
Stop. No. I do not know what this game means. I only know swallow and crush, undertow and riptide. I have been the moon's husband. But here, a taste of mold and rust.
And then, did he take you back to your room?
I was told by them to take off all my clothes, so I did as ordered. I was ordered to lay on a bench, and they tied my feet, hands, and neck to that bench, with my face upward. They placed a cloth on my face. And then with water from the faucet, they poured on me until I became unconscious. He repeated that 4 or 5 times.
I do not know what desperation feels like, but I imagine it is why the water in these men crawls out of their eyes to say hello.
You mean he brought water and poured it down your throat?
No, sir, on my face.
And you couldn't breathe?
No, I could not, and so for a time I lost consciousness. And then I vomited the water from my stomach, and the consciousness came back again for me.
Strange, isn't it? To be 70% thin, and yet to still recoil when you hear its rush.
Where did the water come from?
Don't you know that you're made of me?
From my mouth and all openings of my face.
How many times did it happen?
Around 4 or 5 times from 2 till 4 in the afternoon. And when I could not endure the punishment, I told a lie. I just wanted to stop the torture.
Was it painful?
Not so painful. But you lost consciousness. Like I was drowning.
Like you were drowning.
You could hardly breathe. I was alive, and I was drowning.
I understand why you do this. I know what it is to close your eyes and see only thousands dead. Someone has laid at your doorstep. You have filled me with shipwreck and slave holes, but still you holler loud with your proud American heart. And I wish I could stop flowing in you.
That is live from the satellite show. Hurricane Dorian story now Category 2 storm strengthening this morning, threatening to hit Florida as a major Category 4 hurricane. 17 million Americans are on alert.
Becoming a Category 3 now.
Piling up of water.
Storm surge in 4 seconds is possible all the way through north. East side, 90-degree water temperature there. We've got plenty of people fire this thing, probably becoming a Category later today. Maybe it's Cat 4. Good morning.
The water was rising fast.
The water is inches away from seeping in. Start moving things now. Save everything you can.
I saw a wave of water outside the window. It was a matter of minutes before the water would come gushing in.
Save everything now.
I think the car is flooded. There's no way out!
I remember putting all the kitchen chairs on top of the table and grabbing the shoes from the floor and throwing them on top of the refrigerator. I saved the face that my nonna made when she was in the nursing home. Stop coming in and out of the apartment. I watched the horror as the water flowing after him.
Our neighborhood had never flooded before.
We didn't know that the cheap drywall of the apartment could become waterlogged.
We didn't know that the walls could collapse.
We didn't know our lives would end so quickly.
We stayed. My fault. We live in a solid 2-story brick house. For 6 years we lived there, never once flooded. I thought we were fine. I mean, we were. Until the levees broke. The water was coming up so fast, we scrambled upstairs from the first floor.
The water came right behind us, waltzing up the stairs like it owned the place. As quick as a wink, the water was swirling around our ankles on the second floor. So we ran up to the attic. Then, the lights went out. I could see flashes and sparks from the transformer down the block. The water looked bluish, blackish, and alive.
Water topped off my waist. Just stopped. It filled up my pants pocket and stopped like it wanted to. People were young, banging on the roofs of the houses from the inside. They tried to escape by climbing up to their attics, but got themselves stuck with nowhere to break out. But here was a flood, and that nasty water drowning folks like rats from their own houses.
I couldn't tell you exactly where the yelling was coming from, because everything was echoing and spinning off the water from every which way. I saw a dead man float by, mouth open, face all puffed up, something bad. And something hit my leg, and I saw the body of the young man. He drowned.
The evidence is overwhelming. Record-breaking temperatures, humidity, and sea level rise show that the Earth is warming fast, and that all the heat-trapping emissions we release into the atmosphere from burning fossil fuels is changing our climate and changing our oceans.
Because this atmosphere change is in direct contact with warming water, sea ice will be the first to melt as global temperatures rise. In fact, this year NASA reported that the extent of Arctic sea ice was the lowest ever recorded for January, February, and April. So the world is getting warmer and the ice is melting.
The oceans are becoming more acidic, threatening sea life.
A warmer climate spurs the evaporation of water from land and sea and allows the atmosphere to hold more moisture, thus setting the stage for more extreme levels of precipitation.
While some regions are likely to get wetter as the world warms, other regions that are already on the dry side are likely to get drier.
Higher seas endanger coastal communities where 40% of the world's population lives, and it threatens groundwater supplies.
Human influence on the ecosystem is clear, and recent greenhouse gas emissions are the highest in history.
The scientific consensus is clear. A landmark study evaluated that over 11,000 scientists confirmed that global warming is real and largely caused by humans.
There is a garbage patch in the Pacific Ocean that weighs approximately 80,000 tons. Plastic bags, plastic bottles, children's toys.
The coral reef is dying. The whales are beaching themselves.
The oceans are dying.
Oklahoma.
June 30th.
1935. It is an almost hopeless task, for there is rarely a day when at some time the dust storms do not roll over. Visibility approaches zero, and everything is covered in with a silt-like deposit which varies in depth from film to actual ripples on the kitchen floor. I keep old cloths on the windowsills between the upper and lower sashes. They help just a little to collect the dust. Some try to seal the windows with gum paper strips, but nothing really works. It's so dry. There's no water. We do our best to avoid inhaling the dust. Dallas, Texas.
April 2nd.
2017.
It was a late evening on a Monday in April, the end of a bright day when my mom died. I suppose it's what you'd call a natural death. But in one way, Mom's death was exceptional, shocking even. She had decided to die about 10 days before, and for the previous 6 days, had had no food and almost no water. She had chosen to die of thirst.
When a person dies from dehydration, the lips crack and become caked and coated with thick material. The tongue swells and cracks, and the eyes recede back into their orbits.
On this blistering Sunday afternoon, I'm so alone. There is no more than a half a mile, and all day I've seen one person pass by in an old stripped-down Ford. It is so dry. The dust hangs in the air and seeps in my pores. Where is the rain? Another cow has died. The cracks in the ground are so wide. The earth hungers for water.
The cheeks become hollow. The lining of the nose might crack and cause the nose to bleed. The skin begins to hang loose off the body and becomes dry and scaly.
Mom told us she had been diagnosed with cancer. Don't worry about me, she said. Her oncologist immediately set her on a course of chemotherapy and radiation to shrink the tumors. They had long and honest talks about the decisions Mom faced. She wasn't quite ready, she said at first, to leave Dad, this beautiful world, as she put it, and us. The urine becomes highly concentrated, leading to the burning of the bladder. The lining of the stomach dries out. The dust storms keep rolling in. It feels like the end of the world. The dust clouds are a mile high. We tie damn scarves around our necks and huddle in the kitchen. Day feels like night. The air is sizzled with electricity. We lost all the cows. The wheat crop has failed again. And little Ruthie has developed a deep and nasty cough. We pray not dust pneumonia. We pray for rain. Mom told my sister she didn't want to go through more treatment. She didn't want Dad to see cancer killing her. She wanted to die quickly and quietly. She didn't want any fuss. It was my sister who first told my mom about an article she had read about voluntary refusal of food and drink as a means of bringing death to the terminally ill. The author described it as a relatively painless way to die. A gradual slipping away into a coma, followed by death. It was the most remarkable week of my life, and it's left me unafraid of death. Mom had always talked frankly to us about death. Your body is like a suit of old clothes. When you're old or sick, you'll get tired of it, she said. I had always expected to find her diminished when I got home, somehow less herself. But to me, Mom looked lovely.
Being the spectator of the death of someone you love is bitterly hard. For most of the 6 days it took Mom to die, she was in no pain.
Brain cells dry out, causing convulsions.
The respiratory tract also dries out, causing thick secretions that flood the lungs.
At some point, the person's major organs, including the heart, lungs, and brain give out, and death occurs.
No one heard my prayers. The crops are dead, the animals are dead, and little Ruthie has died. The rains never came.
I don't expect much from Flint, Michigan. I do expect the basic necessities to live a good life. Now, a child's main concern should be learning, playing, and finding new ways to discoveries about the world. Their brains should be absorbing knowledge, not chronically accumulating lead. John did not get to receive this gift of normalcy. John, only 3 weeks old, and I feel I've known him my whole life. Born prematurely, he radiates pure innocence. He amazes me, and yet I am famished for more amazement. His periods of sleep become a relief after the horrors of watching him convulse and shake. I can't explain to him the panic that I feel. As he sleeps there peaceful in his hospital crib, I find myself awake and aching. The doctors tell me it's lead. From where? We were careful, so careful. From the water? John didn't get to run and laugh and learn and play and grow. It was completely out of our control. John's destiny was decided by government officials choosing to pipe water laced with lead into my home. John was only 3 weeks old when he left this world.
Our water killed him.
Water is a human right.
We are not your lab rats.
Fix Flint now! Right now, there's a lot of people talking about when America was great. And I guess I just have a very different idea of greatness. My idea is America was great when we had 8,000 varieties of corn, 250 species of grass in the northern plains, tremendous biodiversity, 50 million buffalo. America was great when you could drink water from our rivers. America was great when our reservoirs were full. Today, there are a lot of stupid decisions that have been made, and some of which include a series of oil pipelines. I have seen the destruction within communities whose clean water sources are threatened by hydraulic fracking or poisoned by lead. When pipelines leak, our clean water sources are destroyed. Most of us cannot begin to comprehend the reality of catastrophic drought, or catastrophic flooding, or forest fires followed by mudslides. Most of us have not begun to face the prospect of turning on the tap and having water unfit to drink. In America, we've never really faced the prospect of turning on the tap and having nothing come out.
Journey along this river, the mighty Potomac, to draw attention to the pollution in water, to heal it, and change people's damaging relationships to waterways. We will return this water to its clean source. Our walks are extended ceremonies of prayer for the water. Each step we take is in gratitude and prayer for the water, our life-giving force.
We want to give River a taste of how she began. And that's what we wish for her to be again. And as we carry the water, we tell it, we love you, we thank you, we respect you.
We believe that water has a spirit. 75% of the earth is water, but only 2% is drinkable. I do these walks to make sure that my children's children, and 7 generations down the line, will have fresh water to drink.
The Potomac is a drinking source for millions of people. All the rivers need our help. Not just the Potomac, the Niagara, the Colorado, the Missouri.
Water plays a special role for Native Americans right now. 300 tribes have united to oppose the Dakota Access Pipeline in order to protect the Missouri River, which is the water source for the Standing Rock Sioux tribe in Cannonball, North Dakota.
Water is a living entity with a spirit. Without water, there can be no life. So we march in healing prayer, and we tell the water how much we care for it. We do it for the spirit of the water.
For those who lost their homes in those fires, for those who have been surviving without clean water for years, I march for you today.
To those who have been devastated by flood, to those who have been poisoned by lead, I march for you today. Water is life.
I've got a story for what I saw at Standing Rock in North Dakota on the banks of the Missouri River. I'm a reporter, and you may know a few things about gaslands, fracking, and the climate revolution. We are here to fight for our water. We are here to fight for our environment. And I'm telling you, that fight has people on the front lines at Standing Rock. And I want to tell you what I saw. I saw people, they call themselves water protectors. They were standing in the ice-cold water on the banks of a place called Turtle Island, their sacred burial ground. And the police were lined up at the shore. And they were standing there, freezing, praying, looking up at that line of police and saying,
We are praying.
"We are praying for our children." And the whole line of them were maced and pepper sprayed, and they didn't fight back in anger. They cried tears of joy, and they went back to the shore, and they said,
So what are you going to do?
"What are you going to do when your daughter gets up in the middle of the night and asks you for a glass of water? Are you going to say that you were standing here with us, protecting this vital source of life for your children and for all Americans? Or are you going to say that you had a gun pointed at my head while I was protecting this vital source of water for you?" Everything we have, every right we possess in this democracy is being defended by a person in that vulnerable position. Are you ready to fight with them? Are you ready? Because this is about love.
Because let me tell you something. They are proposing 300 fracked gas wells. That's 2 million fracked power plants they want to put into the United States of America. So go ahead, mace us, pepper spray us, shoot us. It's time to celebrate life on this planet. That is the only way we win. I want you to remember that. Because this is our United States of America. And we are going to have to stop them with our bodies. We are going to have to stop them with our love. Every one of us must be in that confrontation, looking eye to eye and saying we are here to protect the future of this planet.
We are here to protect you.
The Greeks called me Poseidon. The Americans, Katrina, Maria, Dorian. I am both the dam breaker and the hands that cut Monet's lilies, the color of storms in your lover's eyes. No levee can be built strong enough. Yet, when your skin is still fluid and your eyes not yet formed, I'll rock you to sleep.
Where the hands of your homeland cannot reach you, where you promised to return to me when you die. Can you remember that promise? Elijah once lit me on fire as a miracle of God. But now, my rivers are so polluted that you could ignite my surface with a dropped match.
Who cries for spilt water? I am more precious than oil, yet you squander me by the half-full bottle. Never pour out the cup that runneth over. It is the dust.
And I am no longer clean, and I gut the fish's gills. It rains poison Who will nourish your children? You pray for me then?
To my sons and daughters, don't cry.
There is a promise my warriors are making for you. They promise me no one will come and devour you.
No one's drowning. No one's moving, they promise me. No one's losing their homeland. No one will become a climate change refugee.
Still, there are those who see.
Fists raising up, hands reaching out, banners unfurling.
They are
Canoes blocking coal ships.
We are
The radiance of solar villages.
We are
The rich, clean soil of the farmer's past.
We are
Petitions blooming from teenage fingertips.
And
We are spreading the word.
Change now!
And we are marching for you. We are marching for him and her and them. Because you deserve to do more than just survive.
my sons and daughters.
They promise me.
We will not let you down.
You'll see.
Okay, house lights up.